Are Manchester City finished as far as the title race is concerned? We're going through that tonight. The Guehi saga is about to heat up. City willing to spend £30 million on the centre-back this January, but Arsenal are now active in the pursuit of the England centre-back alongside Liverpool. We're looking at Chelsea's crisis as it deepens as they lose again, dropping very, very close to mid-table. We're also going to be talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjær's imminent return to Manchester United. Is it right? Is it wrong? Would you do it? Should it be Michael Carrick? All that plus building up to tonight's epic encounter between Arsenal and Liverpool Football Club, which I know Tom is very, very excited about. Please like, share, and subscribe the content right now. If you haven't got the bell notification button on, get that done. Got a brilliant panel for you. Kwess will be here soon, but he's just rehearsing his lines as to why Chelsea are still amazing. So he's a little bit behind in relation to that. Ash is here with us, fresh off of a massive win for the Toon Army last night. It was 2.5 minutes over the allotted time, but Ash has suddenly stopped complaining about referees, which is great to see. Tom Little is here with us, looking rather stressed about tonight, if I may say so myself. Stressed, worried, panicked, and back after a long while away. We have Hannah back on the show, who is now a very famous content creator, part of Sky Sports and all of us here on there doing the fan analysis stuff. So welcome back to the terrace. Great to have you here. How are we all this evening?
Good. Well, not so good after a United draw, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
I've been better. I've been more excited going into Arsenal games.
Personally, I'm amazing. I've watched back my game about 4 times today, so I'm still living on a high.
I would love to take the piss out of you because it was just Leeds, but we haven't even beat them this year. So you can have that.
You guys deserved it. I'm not surprised Newcastle are up to 6th. If you'd watched Newcastle play enough games this season, which I have, they for me, you're always going to level out and go back up near the top. I always felt that would happen over the course of the season, and even back above Sunderland now as well.
Oh, thank God. No, there's one thing that I'm really happy with is I wanted Kwess to be here, which I'm sure he will be soon, but he said Chelsea are clear of Newcastle a little while ago, so I want to hear him say that again.
Yeah, no, you guys are gonna finish, I think, in the top 6. I never really changed my mind on that with Newcastle. I really and truly, when it came to Newcastle, I was very frustrated watching Newcastle fans get suckered in and indoctrinated by the standards FC nonsense. That's been something that's weird. Watch Newcastle fans saying, I supported this club to have the highest standards. You're 20 years old. When you started supporting them, Mike Ashley was in charge at Bell End. You didn't do it for high standards. Calm your brains down. But yeah, look, a brilliant result for you last night. I wanted to start with a little bit of Manchester United tonight, though, in terms of we've got some fact or fiction questions to go into. But Han, what did you make of the draw last night and the appointment, what feels like the imminent appointment of Ole Gunnar Solskjær's return? How are you feeling as a United fan at this point?
It's like we've gone back in time. I can't believe we're getting back with our ex. But you know what? Right now, I feel like it's not the worst decision. Last night, I feel like attacking-wise, we looked a lot better. You know, Sesko got his brace, which was always nice to shut the Sky Sports studio up. That was great. And it was obviously good to see him back on the score sheet. But defensively, I know last night was a bit of a freak result and, you know, the goals were a little bit ridiculous, but it's just frustrating. You feel like we take 2 steps forward, then 3 steps back, and every time Chelsea lose, we can't capitalise. Like, what is it? We just keep getting 1 point every time Chelsea lose, and the race for Europe is so tight, so it's frustrating, but do you know what? People can't complain. That was Fletcher's first game. He made some good subs. It was a good starting lineup, and with what he's got, I know obviously Mount, Bruno were back. Bruno being back made a massive difference. Him coming off, I think, caused us problems. But with regards to Solskjær, like, why not? If they're not going to have Amorim till the end of the season, which I personally think they should have, they've got to have someone that knows the club inside out, and he's done it before. It's not his first rodeo, so bring it on, I say. But we need to get someone good in the summer. Luis Enrique, but that's for the summer.
Well, Fabrizio has come out in the last couple of hours and said that the United, in terms of the long-term permanent manager, they want someone that plays beautiful football, nice football. And De Zerbi's name keeps coming up. I don't think we'll get Luis Enrique. I'd like him. But De Zerbi's a name that comes up, which I think fits more with how we want our club to play football idealistically. But I do agree with you last night that, do you know what? I don't know about you today. I don't know how much time you spend on X, but I woke up this morning and spent the first hour or so on there. Personally, I was looking for stuff for the reaction show that I do, so I kind of have to be on there. But I saw this kind of weird warring amongst Man United fans, which was essentially all the Amorim outers thought Amorim was the problem and we drew, he ain't the problem, and all this weird stuff. Again, which I was talking to KJ about this. We're sitting there going, it is and it isn't weird. We do live in a world, and this is how I'm looking at the sacking of Amorim and the mood of United fans right now, from the loud people. It's as though I've sat there and you said to me, Terry, do you like Harry Potter? Yeah, I love it. Do you love Lord of the Rings? Oh, it's amazing. Which do you prefer? I prefer Lord of the Rings. How dare you say Harry Potter's shit? And then 2 weeks later, that's the reaction from weirdos. 2 weeks later, I tweet, I watched Harry Potter today, not watched it in a while. Such a brilliant movie. I forgot how good it was. You said it was shit the other day. Why are you watching it? That's the way people... I've had people say to me, you're Amorim out. How are you not excited about the new manager? How do you feel now after we didn't improve last night? Well, I've equally said I didn't think he was the biggest reason why we're in this mess, but I still felt it was right for him to go on the backdrop of everything that was going on. And even more's coming out now that he didn't like the transfer policy in the summer. He didn't want players that the club have been scouting. He didn't like the way we were building the squad. And again, do you know what? Some of you may agree with him, and that's fair. But if he doesn't agree with the direction the club's going in, whether you or I are on his side or not, he can't be the manager. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He can't be there. And that was the most disappointing part for me, because I liked elements of last night again. The one thing that I feel that if you're a United fan and you're ignoring this, you're a liar. If you didn't see the intent to win different last night to a lot of other games this season, you are just lying for the sake of lying, and that's entirely your right, but it makes you look really stupid and I think really, really silly. But of course, we know the squad's still good, average to good, and needs massive overhaul. I'm not convinced by Ollie coming back. I'm like in this 50-50 space. I don't want it. There is this, I don't know about you, Han, there is like this romantic part of me that goes, oh, can you imagine though, if he does come back and it goes well and he gets us back into Europe and wins the FA Cup? There is part of me that wants it to happen because I want it to work, because it would be a great story. But the other part of me just says, just go with Carrick. Go with Carrick, get a couple of attacking coaches, and let's not go back down. As you say, an X is an X for a reason, and there's a lot of truth to that. So that's my worry about Ollie.
It looks like we might get both though. If we get Ollie and Carrick, like, that really is kind of a throwback, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's because the race for Europe right now is so tight. It's just going to be super interesting to see if he can come in and grind out results, because last night was 2 points dropped. It was another 2 points. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, it was. This comment here says, Terry, as much as Amorim failed to adapt and improve, he was low-key set up to fail by the board. Bringing him in when you did, the misfits in his philosophy and your squad, Ineos, massive against cock up. I think there are definitely areas to blame the board on, and I've said, they've had 2 failed managerial appointments, and it is on them ultimately. But set up to fail, I think that is, again, I think that's disingenuous and over the top. And what I mean by that is he got angry at the conversations from the board saying, you've got to look at changing. And it's going to bring us into what your comment has done segues us brilliantly into the first fact or fiction question of the show, which I'm going to go to Tom with to begin with. And it is fact or fiction. A sporting director / football director of football should have a say on how the team plays, including footballing philosophy starts at the top.
I kind of agree, but I don't at the same time. It's a weird one, because they're the ones that have to buy the players, so they kind of have to buy into the playing style. Otherwise, you're going to end up in situations where they're buying the wrong players because they'll be thinking that maybe they're planning for the future and going, if I get these players, maybe this manager might go sooner rather than later. And then the guy I bring in who wants to play my style of football, they love these guys. But a philosophy often starts way above that as well. I think a philosophy is something that's very ingrained in a club, regardless of who's the sporting director. Barca could bring someone off the street in who's never been a sporting director before, who never played the sport. They'll still play the same way because it's ingrained in the culture. So I think for certain clubs, it's beyond that. But for the most part, for a club like United, for example, who maybe in the past have had a set philosophy and style of playing how they want to, but now they're in a very sort of weird spot with it. I think for them, it might be a case of the sporting director has to get on board with it. Otherwise, you're going to end up in situations like I've read over this past week where Wilcox and all the guys upstairs have been clashing about, well, the players that we're buying, they're not good enough, but they fit the system. We should be buying better players to fit a more natural system than this. But I think they're like third on the rung. I think if you're going like on rungs of a ladder, I think the philosophy of the club is just ingrained at one, if it is. Then it's got to come down to the manager, because at the end of the day, he's the one that's got to operate under that, and it's his job on the line if the philosophy is not good. It's his job on the line, so he's got to have a big say in his philosophy. And I think ultimately as well, he sits about third or fourth, this sporting director. But they do have to have a say, because you can't end up in situations where the sporting director is buying players who don't fit a style of football because he doesn't agree with the style of football and the philosophy of football that's getting played. And I feel like that's starting to happen a lot more often in the sport now. I feel like there's a lot of power struggles happening at football clubs now, where the sporting directors want to be the main guys. I feel like we're becoming very Americanized as a sport, where I never used to hear about sporting directors, and now I'm seeing articles on them every other day about what they're doing. I feel like they're starting to get a lot more power in the clubs, and if they get more power, then they're going to want more of a say on stuff that the managers should be doing. So I think ultimately now, the way football's going, for a lot of clubs, the sporting director does need to agree on the philosophy, because otherwise you're going to end up with lots of power struggles, and power struggles are good for no one. They're good for no one at a football club.
What do you think, Ash? I mean, your club, it got taken over. You brought in people to run the footballing side of things. In terms of because the reason this question's come up is there's a lot of people that have said that Jason Wilcock at Man United should not interfere on any level with how the team plays football. Shouldn't be involved. The word interfere has been used by a lot of United fans, and Hannah hopefully will attest to that. Shouldn't interfere at all. Take Man United out of it as the overall point. Think about this as a general question. Should sporting and footballing directors, the footballing decision makers at board level, should they be getting involved with how a football team plays?
So this question, for me, probably actually affects me more than Man United, because since we've been taken over, actually had two sporting directors. We didn't have one at the start of this window. So we know full well what it's like. It actually affects. It's in the context of, should they affect day-to-day gameplay, how the manager trains players? No. But they should have a philosophy that is in line with the manager. But that comes down to who the owners sign. The owners should have a sporting director and a manager that both want the same things. Because typically within a club, a sporting director lasts a lot longer than a manager, and they will oversee stuff from, say, through academy all the way up throughout the club. So you should, as a club, like what Tom said, your style of play is a club. And then you buy managers and sporting directors to fill that role. So no, they shouldn't be involved in day-to-day operations of how a manager sets up teams and whatever, because the manager should already set up in team in line with a sporting director. So I think it's an interesting one, but the comments do seem to imply that maybe they were more interactive in their day-to-day stuff that Amorim seems to be hinting, which I think that shouldn't be the case.
Like what though?
Well, if the comments have coming out in talking about the fact that they're having they're interfering more with how they are, like I said, if you take over,
what example? Give us an example of what.
I mean, Amorim's come out and said that they were interfering with his setup and his formation and everything, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So
the reports have said that, but this is what I wanted to ask you, because I want to make a challenge on this. So I do agree to a certain extent that I look at it this way. I think it's a fact. I think they should be involved in the footballing element of the club. They absolutely should be. Equally, if they appoint a manager or two that foul, they should also lose their jobs. Ed Woodward should have lost his job for years prior because he was picking the wrong managers.
Yeah.
But if you're winning 30% of your games, winning one match a month for 12 months, just deep this for a moment. Imagine it's your football club. Your manager comes in, everyone's excited. They get given, they know how they want the club to play. They say, listen, my formation, my coaching is going to give you that style of play. It's going to give us the wins and we're going to progress. Imagine you're 12 months in, you're winning one game a month. One game a month. Imagine a report came out or an interview. You're all fuming. Wow, we're only winning one game a month. And your sporting director, your director of football go, we're not going to tell you that. What do you mean? We're not interfering in what the coach is doing. We're just going to let him do his job. Imagine they didn't get involved when you were winning one game in 3 and on average winning one game a month. Fans, and also, this is the bit, fans aren't angry that Wilcock's getting involved. Fans don't like Wilcock. And I think this is where nuance is missing in 2026. It's been missing since about 2016, to be honest, and it's gone. Is nobody wants to discuss, is it right a footballing director, a director of sport, whatever the title is, are they getting involved? It's absolutely right. Should they be sitting down and making suggestions when you're losing more than you're winning about how maybe we can make things better? Of course. Imagine any job I've ever done. Imagine you doing a bad job and your boss is just letting you get on with doing a bad job. It's ridiculous to think they shouldn't get involved. You always hear that nobody would interfere with Pep because he wins 70% of his matches, you plebs. Of course they won't interfere. This is the issue for me, is people are making it very specific. Wilcock shouldn't get involved. But a really good sporting director I like should. And we do this too much in life. We don't judge what's happening. We judge who's doing it. And for me, as much as I'm not happy with what Wilcock and Barada have done so far, and I've condemned it, I think they've done a poor job, and head should be on the chopping block, especially if the next appointment doesn't work. Pushing for the principle that sporting directors and directors of football shouldn't have a say in how you play and shouldn't be talking to the manager when it isn't working, I think that is ridiculous. To say the least, it's a ridiculous thing to push on your own football club. And equally, 1 minute we say we shouldn't be listening to the fans. We shouldn't listen to what the fans have got to say. We're not qualified. The next minute it's listen to the fans. We know what we're talking about. It's so up and down. And what people are doing is, I don't like Wilcock either, but I'm not judging what a sporting director should or shouldn't do based on if I like the person or not. I think that's the road to ruin. If you behave that way in life in general, you're going to have a very sad life. He's doing the right thing, but I don't like him, so I'm going to condemn it. I cannot side with people on that argument. How do you see? Sorry, go on, Ash. I'll go back to you, and then I'll go to Hannah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the thing that really confuses me, that is definitely not, this isn't just down to Amorim. It is 100% down to sporting directors and the board level. You have a philosophy as a club. You've then hired Amorim, who is, in my opinion, completely against your philosophy as a club. He plays a different style of football. I remember seeing an infographic that came up that basically previous managers, there was amount of games that where academy players were part of the team. There was like no games where academy players weren't part. Under Amorim, it was like nearly half of his games didn't have academy players. It's like you weren't consistent from academy through to actual on the pitch game. It was always going to fail, which is why I was always said from the start, the only way that Amorim, in my opinion, would actually succeed is if he would be given a 3-year job and there was going to be trials and tribulations up until the point where he would completely change that.
The thing is, he would have got the 3 years, but he's thrown his toys out the pram at suggestions of change to make things better. And I guarantee you, I bet there was conversations at Arsenal in those first 2.5 years between Edu, Arteta and his bosses about making changes and persevering. I guarantee there were conversations. I think most clubs go through that. This sudden idea that United are this weird alien club, and we've made a mistake in hiring him. It hasn't worked. What do you make of it? Do you think that the people that are running the club should have a say in how we play, and if a team's struggling, should get involved in conversations about how we can make it better?
Yeah, I think like you've all said, there's kind of two sides to this. I agree with that to an extent, but what I don't understand, and it's kind of what Wilcox and Barada have done with Ruben Amorim, is similar to what Ash said. Why would you hire a manager that has a completely different philosophy and style of play to what Man United have been used to playing? Like, you know, you're bringing a manager in that specifically plays a back three, and he said that he wouldn't change that. And I just think if you wanted a manager that kind of sets up a certain way, goes a certain way, why would you hire someone the opposite of that? So I think to an extent, the sporting directors do have to have say in things like, you know, your academy, your development of the club and the team. But if you're going to hire a manager, you have to loosen the reins a little bit. There's not going to be many managers and many good, strong managers that are going to come in and kind of be molded to what the sporting directors and what the higher ups of the club want. Like, you have to be clear from the interviews and from the start, and this is what I hope that they do at Man United in the summer. You have to establish, are you a coach? Are you a manager? What are you going to have, you know, say wise in the transfers, and what kind of players do you want to play with? I think there has to be clear lines. I think the lines with Amorim and Ineos, as we've seen, have been incredibly blurred, and look what's happened.
Han, do you know what's interesting? I think they became blurred, though. So I don't disagree with your premise, because Chelsea have gone through the exact same thing. Now, I'm not defending Clearlake. I think Clearlake should have bought more experienced players. But Maresca knew what his remit was when he joined, then wanted more because he won trophies, and the ownership said, no, we're not changing now. I think Amorim has done very similar. We wanted a certain... For me, a formation isn't your style. Amorim's teams, if you watch back at Portugal, did play with a lot of wide play. His fullbacks were like their wingers. There was a lot of great attacking football. I think United want to play attacking football. Amorim just couldn't get his system to work, and he's set up to work in the Premier League. That's when I think it's fair. And there's a comment that came in here, and this is where I think things get too polarized. It says, disagree. If results aren't good enough, you either sack the manager or back him. Well, but this is the point. They tried to back him. They tried backing him, but in that it was maybe... And this is where I want to go back to, this is why the United conversation around Amorim and the formation, and I've seen some massive Man United fans pushing this, and it actually hurts my heart. Because KJ and I have been having this conversation on this channel for a year, and it seems to fall on deaf ears. Both Amorim said from the start, I will change my formation when I feel it's ready to. He said it 2 or 3 times. And Wilcox said in 3 interviews in the last 12 months that we're not just buying players for 3 at the back, and the first team will evolve. This idea that suddenly in November, it was thrown at Amorim that the formation may have to change. It makes me angry that that's being pushed by the mainstream media, because it had been spoken about multiple times in the last 12 months. Plus, to your point, Abdul, it wasn't working. So I don't agree with, right, results ain't correct, just sack him. I think you should try and work with, in every walk of life, try and work with someone to make them better at their job rather than just sacking them instantly, because some subtle adaptations can make a team a lot better. And I felt when we made those adaptations against Bournemouth, against Villa, against Newcastle, we actually had some improvement in certain areas. But it just so coincided with losing 3 players to injury and losing 3 players to AFCON, which was unfortunate. My disappointment in Amorim is, why don't you stick it out when the lads come back and they see how we look and play? I think what's come in is a bit of hubris, a bit of arrogance, a bit of, what I wanted to do shape-wise is going to fail. I'm going to look bad. I'm going to look weak. I said I wouldn't change it if anybody asked me to. I can't do this. So there's an element there that I don't even put on Wilcock and Ineos. It's on him as well. And that, you know, when you're winning 1 game in 3, you have very little room to maneuver. And he said that himself. Without wins, I won't get time. And he wasn't getting the wins. And of course, there are still wider problems, but this idea that sporting directors shouldn't get involved is crazy. Let's do some more super chats here. This here says, I don't think our sporting director, when Arteta came in, had any say in our playing style. But they would have picked Arteta for a reason, because this is where I disagree. Arteta would have matched what they wanted to build the playing style with. So the fact you hired Arteta means they had a say in how you play. That's how it's meant to be. I agree.
I think a lot of the frustration that fans have is a lack of accountability, isn't like a lack of transparency from sporting directors. We hear from the manager 4 times a week, pretty much 5 times a week. He gets asked the same questions every time, and he gets asked all the questions that people want to know. I don't know about what happens at United or Newcastle. I can say I haven't heard a word from my sporting directors this season. At no point have my sporting directors sat down and had an interview where questions are put towards them and they've got to answer why they made this decision, why they think this is the correct way to go. So I think for a lot of fans, it's a frustration on the lack of transparency where the manager, because he's the face of it and because he's facing the media 4 times a week, he's going to get the brunt of it. But the sporting directors,
they're also...
and no one really understands how they want to operate.
I get that, but they're also paid for that. Managers get paid a lot more than the sporting directors and the footballing directors. You're kind of compensated for that. If Wilcox sacked tomorrow, he just goes. He ain't getting no £14 million payout. So from my point of view, there are certain jobs in life where you are compensated for the pressure that's sort of put on you. If that may, if a TV show does something wrong, isn't the director of the TV show that comes out and issues an apology? It's the presenters of the show. And that's part of your job as the manager of any first team in England. Mm-hmm. You're the kind of face of the club, and you're compensated for that. But I do get it.
Do you not agree that as they're getting more power and they're having more of a stance in football, so as we start seeing their names more and more often, the desire to hear from them becomes a bit more.
Yeah, but I don't think they're more powerful. It's just that football fans are now more educated on how football clubs are run, so we know they exist. They've existed on the continent for 50, 60, 70 years, maybe not with that title. We all know that in fairness, in Spain, they do, the presidents get voted in. So they do speak quite a bit. And maybe there should be a little bit more of that. But I don't think we're ready in England for the fact that we don't have managers anymore. And we've gone to having head coaches with sporting directors. I still think what we're struggling with is a cultural change. And we haven't kind of adapted to it yet. That element of, well, what do you mean, the manager's not got full control? No. At no club in England, Pep doesn't have full control at City. He just doesn't. And I think we've got to get used to that. I find interesting people only focus on the bad with Ollie and not the good. Like they just ignore he got the best out of his players, got results. 90% of the fan base would take 6 months of him over Ruben. Would you say that's true, Han, in terms of there were some really good times with Ollie as well?
Yeah, I mean, the guy apologised for us getting second, and I think he, like I said before, he understood the weight of being the Manchester United manager. Like, all respect to Ruben Amorim, I think at some points he didn't quite get that. He didn't play the youth as much as I think he could have, and, there's just something about Ollie that he understands it and he gets it from the inside out. But don't get me wrong, it wasn't perfect. Like, he did get sacked for a reason. That 4-1 Watford defeat was, ultimately the nail in his coffin. But for right now and where we are at the minute, there's 5 months left of the season. I feel like I said before, he's probably one of the best options. But of course, like with a player like him, he's a legend. You're always going to romanticize it a little bit. There was some terrible games under him, but all in all.
No, I agree. And the one that I've seen a lot of people today say, don't be romantic. I'm not going to lie. My choice would be for interim would be Carrick. But I'm not going to advocate for the pushing of romance out of football. You'll kill the game. I'm not going to. If he comes in, I'm fully behind him in terms of And let me preface that because there's a lot of toaster people watching. For anyone new, that means people I wouldn't trust using a toaster because they're dumb. For me, what I mean fully behind him is I'm going to support him. I'm going to cheer for him. I'm going to want him to do well. I'm not going to run an agenda every week. And we saw it last night, a bit of an agenda when we didn't win, which, by the way, would have been, if that Shea Lacey shot goes in, the narrative would have been all those angry people last night that Amorim's gone would have been silent. And for me, I mean, I was like, oh, this is why you trust youth in these moments. You give them more than 2 minutes. This actually super chat is big up Terry. Should Shea Lacey start the next game? No, probably not. He had an interesting little cameo. Looked a little bit dangerous, but he did sort of show us in the space of 7 or 8 minutes. And imagine if he got a 20-minute job a year, maybe if he started at home against Wolves, he could have done something. The fact that he barely got on the pitch under Amorim is crazy. Yes, Kwess, it's good to have you back on the show, brother.
Come on, people, man. Happy to be here. How's everybody doing?
Good, man. We obviously know it took you a long time to get up here from mid-table, so it's okay, mate. We we know, brother.
I'll take it.
Come on, Kwess. I thought Chelsea was clear of Newcastle. What's going on, bro?
It's still clear, bro. Still clear.
Yeah, I know. Clear the opposite way. You're going down the table. We're going up.
Yeah, but you know what? It's less pressure up there. You know what I mean? Like, you lot just got to make sure the black and white stripes are happy.
Listen. It's cold up here, according to Hamza. So,
fair. Yeah, true. Valid, bro.
Sorry, I was reading something. This just says, I lost faith in Sir Jim and the board. All they want is a yes man manager. There's no way back. My club is screwed. Ineos and Glazers out. I want to ask this. I do want to ask a question. So it's going to be rhetorical for the panel, but open for the audience. Define what a yes man manager is. I need to understand it because, again, I feel who isn't a yes man manager and what does that look like in reality? Because and this is why I'm not going to have the debate with anybody over any manager being a yes man or not until they can tell me what a yes man is. And I can guarantee you something now. Clip this up, people, and send it to all the Man United content creators that are saying it, the Chelsea ones that are saying it. I bet you they won't write down on paper and post it on X what a yes man is in terms of behavior, what he will and he won't do. And tell you as to why they won't do it, in case they have a manager in future that does those things because they won't want to call him a yes man. I get what people are saying, but I need people to define what it is. Doing what your boss says. I mean, when you say you mean not challenging ever, not asking for players. Like, what does that look like in reality, as opposed to just a buzzword saying he's a yes man? I get why people are saying it, but I think we've got to start defining these words instead of just throwing them around a little bit willy nilly. Because none of us need willy nillys going everywhere. Do you know what I mean? We need a little bit of we've all been in the men's changing room. We get those guys that are just a little bit willy-nilly walking around. It's like, bruv. Some of them guys are crazy.
Pause.
Oh, they got a pause. Someone says agreeable. Yes, but again, that's another vague word. I want people to fully, in the comment section after the show, if you've got the ball bags to do it, let me know. The women will do it. Any woman women will 100% write what they think. It'll be the men that will beat about the bush. Oh, well, because I'm scared of my ego getting hurt if I get it wrong. Write in the comments after the show, detail what a yes man manager does and does not do. And I don't want to hear is agreeable. I don't want to hear listens to their boss. I want some specifics relating to football, what they do and they don't do. Let me know. Because I saw someone earlier today say yes man. It was saying that Fletcher was a yes man yesterday because he listened to the medical team and the club, i.e. the medical team, to not play Bruno, who's just returned from a hamstring injury for more than 60 minutes. And I'm going, whoa. Haven't we done about 30 streams where the world goes mad at Arteta for using players that have got knocks? Now Fletcher listens to the medical team and he's a yes man. See my point? So if you're a yes man for listening to medical advice, can we please stop attacking Mikel Arteta for what you say is ignoring medical advice? That's why I want to have. No one will have this debate, by the way, because it stops them running agendas. But let's see how many of you in the comment sections can do that.
What's the point? What's the point in having medical staff if you're not going to listen to their medical advice?
Well, look at this.
If they're going to say, "Listen, just play him 60 minutes so he doesn't re-aggravate that injury," no, I'm playing him 90.
This is what you get. Corporate Terry strikes again. What have I said that's corporate? I'm asking you. Well, again, this is all you man deflecting so you can just push an agenda. I think it's fair to say that Ollie will be a yes man. Our next manager will be a yes man. It's fair to say Liam Rosenior is going to be a yes man. It's fine. But can you define what a yes man is? Can you define what you are saying? Or do you want it kept vague so you can move the goalposts depending upon who you want to attack? I think that is the play it here. Yes man equals kiss ass. I mean, okay, what does that? Again, you've just gone one vague comment for another vague comment. What does that look like? Come on.
How can you define a kiss ass as a manager? No manager is ever going to 100% agree or 100% disagree with their board. They're not going.
For me, I can say Eddie Howe is not, because the reason why we got Paul Mitchell in. Him and Eddie Howe disagreed in how they wanted to buy players and the signings and everything, which caused Paul Mitchell to end up leaving. So for me, I would see more of a kiss ass being someone who would just roll over and just say whatever signings or whatever philosophy you want, I will do, and not try and push anything that they actually want.
So let me give you an example. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Let's interrupt the audience here. A yes man is someone that will go against their philosophy to please the board and take any signings they don't want. They won't push for what they want. So you're all. So are we saying in the comments? Can you write me an answer? Is Jose Mourinho a yes man and is Sir Alex Ferguson a yes man? I need you to answer that question for me. Are Sir Alex and Jose yes men? Yeah, yes or no? For both here, write one for each if you think it's different. Are Jose and Fergie yes men? Please let me know. So no, I'm getting no's coming through. Well, the problem is, again, see, right? I know for a fact Jose took players under Roman Abramovich that he didn't want. We know this. Shevchenko and the boat. Okay. Fergie wanted players and didn't get them. So this is all we can get right now. Happened to Sir Alex Ferguson. Happened to Jose at Man United. So again, you're all saying no in the comment section. So this is why you have to have conversation. I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way, Twist, here. This is why conversations around words like "you're a yes man" need to have. And it's only when it comes to content creators, it's only the low IQ ones that will just say it without and then refuse to debate it. I don't even know what one is. I'm not saying one is or isn't, but you've got to, when someone says a point like this, you've got to test the theory and go, well, I know of at least 3 elite managers that would still accept players that weren't top of their list or they didn't want and would try and get the best out of them. And that's happened for years. My point earlier, I don't think the way football clubs have run have overly changed. We just know more about it. So it's a little bit more protruding. But let me know, people. Tell this.
Part that gets me, Terry.
Well, no, you're saying it's sorry. I was want to talk to the audience. You're saying it's rough because it's a point that where people are struggling to answer it. And by the way, I don't know how to answer it. I'm asking for us to have a discussion as grown-ups about it, so we can. Because what we might find is the word "yes man" is the wrong description for it. But until we explore it, we don't know. It seems people are reluctant to. Some of you that are leaving comments, fucking well done to you. Proper comments, detailed ones. At least you're showing a little bit of something. You got a little bit of something about you, instead of just, it just means someone who rolls over. What does that mean? I need to know what you mean by these things. Come on, guys. Sorry, Tom.
So the part that gets me with this whole debate about yes men at United and yes men at United, Ruben Amorim was one of the furthest things away from a yes man because he did absolutely nothing most people wanted. They were begging for months for him to change from that 3-4-2-1. And he only ever done it if needs must. And he'd go back as soon as he could. So you didn't have the yes man and you want them gone. And now you don't want a yes man again. Because anyone that you bring in now is a yes man. But you didn't like the no man that you had beforehand. So what is it you actually want? The whole yes man or no or whatever. It's actually pointless. Every top manager, to a degree, is a yes man. Because if they're not a yes man, they lose their job.
Well, Jurgen Klopp quite literally got told no for signings he wanted and given other players. And this is my view on the yes man thing. I think you need an element of that in you. There's a comment that says, Terry, this is a child's debate. Nobody will ever say yes to everything and nobody will ever say no to everything. Exactly. We've got some here where with this comment. I think you need to be a combination of the two things. Because if every time a manager didn't get something they want and they went to the media and said, my bosses are pricks, I wanted this striker, they got me this guy, he's not as good, we're in trouble, they'd just lose their job and fans are being pandemonium. There's an element, there's something in life called professionalism, where not everything has to be broadcast publicly and turned into a fucking fight. Can you imagine? You're all in relationships here. Well, I think we all are. Tom ain't. Most of us are in relationships here or been in relationships here, right? There's this element. Hannah, don't tell him you're not because your DMs are going to be full. Right? Just say you are. Tell him you are, right? But it's one of these things.
I'm very much so.
Yeah, it's like you can't. Oh, you're a yes man to your missus. No, I don't say yes to everything. I don't say no to everything. That surely there has to be balance in this. But it's another conversation for another day. Some great points being made there to us. Kwess, my old mate. Chelsea lose again. You drop down to mid-table. A lot of fans are fuming about what's going on. And we're going to start with the fiction or fact question. And it is fact or fiction. And this was kind of inspired by Rory Jennings, if I'm being honest. It's fact or fiction. Liam Rosenior's appointment doesn't matter. Chelsea's owners have already ruined the club.
Yeah, I'm gonna say fiction, man. I think people need to understand what it means to ruin a club. We're a long way off being ruined. When Blueco and Clear Lake took over, admittedly, the first season we came 12th. Second season we came 6th under Poch. And I know lots of people were a bit upset that Poch went, but I think in my head, I couldn't get out of my head that he was Spurs. And even though he did a great job, I think he was kind of like the good father figure that helps them re-find confidence they were lacking. And that was good. We needed that for a time. But we finished 6th and we needed to upgrade and improve on that. I think we did a good job of improving on that by taking a big risk, by the way, employing Enzo Maresca. Because, as I always say, me being around a lot of Leicester fans, they were telling me from the jump, this guy is stubborn to the core. I mean, the senior players, Vardy and etc., were having to go into the dressing room and tell him to change tactics because things were becoming stagnant in games. And it got to the point where midway through their season, it looked like they could have bottled the entire league. But he got the job done, got the title across the line, and did well for himself. Comes to Chelsea, and I actually think, to be honest with you, shout out to Dre, 2K, great name, bro. Great picture. Wow. Garnacho Potter, that's crazy. Anyway,
yeah, hang on a minute. He's like, this ain't what Chelsea fans really wanted. This ain't what Chelsea fans wanted. Here's my picture of Garnacho. It's an interesting choice.
Mental. I think actually in the first year, Maresca was a yes man. I think he came in and he knew exactly what the club wanted from him, and he agreed to it. He came in one of the first press conferences, all of my Chelsea group chats. The one thing that we were saying was the best bit about what he was talking about was how much he loved the squad. So that's the thing. We looked at the squad under Poch and said there's so much there for him to work with. If he can get a tune out of these players, we should be able to do something really, really good in the league. I think Maresca done well. And I think we finished fourth. Julie, I think everybody predicted that at some point in this season, the Chelsea players would be tired. They'd be fatigued. We'd struggle. I don't think anybody predicted Levi Colwill being out, Palmer getting a touch and go injury, Jackson leaving, which was one of the main reasons our attack was flourishing because of him and Palmer's connection. And then a bunch of other things along the way that have just contributed to this downfall. So I wouldn't say the club is ruined, because for me, although we sit 8th in this, game week period, or this game week, I just look at it and just think it could be a hell of a lot worse. And I actually think if you're going to give any credit to Maresca, you also have to give credit to the owners, because they've helped assemble this squad. Maresca didn't. Maresca's come in and worked with this squad. This is also a squad that got to a Carabao Cup final that unfortunately lost 2 kids, which everybody bantered us for. And I want to always remember that, because at the same time, as bad as it is now, we've had and seen it be bad before. When we were having basketball games against Nottingham Forest and teams of the ilk, people like to forget that, but that's what it was. So for me, yes, the young boy, man, what a G. Look at him, man. Hey, Terry, he's more handsome than you, Peak. It gets like that. Yeah, you're muted.
He looks just like me. What are you talking about? He's like my twin. You all right?
Twin is a stretch.
Right,
yeah. Anyway, fiction. I don't think the club is ruined. I think we're a long way off where we could be, but we're good. We'll be all right. We just need to make some proper plans this summer to make some serious investment, because I think the boys need help, and there does need to be a little bit more of a quality in experience, even if it's from other leagues. And I think we'll be fine. I like Rosenior a lot, and I think the club is in a good place to rebuild. So, yeah, I think it's fiction.
What are you saying, Tom? You think? And I suppose the premise of this, when people are saying Chelsea are ruined, it's that no one thinks they're going to be relegated or anything like that. But Chelsea, in terms of a team that's truly capable of winning the Premier League again, they're going for another inexperienced fledgling manager. They're saying they're not going to buy experienced top pros. It's going to be youngsters still. They're not backing down from their kind of philosophy. I mean, maybe the epitome of interfering with how the team's going to play. Do you think Chelsea are ruined? Do you think Chelsea will ever get back to their pinnacle?
They'll get back at some point, because big clubs always get back at some point in time. But the one thing I will say is I didn't have much faith in this project anyway working. I didn't have much belief that it would work. I don't have any belief that this idea of a project will work, because everything that you should do to work with the group of players and the age group of players that you have, Chelsea seems to do the opposite of. This is now, what is it, the third or fourth different manager that a lot of these players have had now? Like, for young players, what young players need to develop well, and Chelsea's whole model was going to develop a core group of players, and then that will just add little pieces who can develop alongside, and then by 2028, 2029, we'll have a well-beater team. The problem that they've got is, by going through 4 separate managers, each of who have different philosophies, want to use players in different ways, these players who have crucial years of development where they're finding out how they play in the men's game, this, that, and the other. They've spent that development time learning multiple different positions, multiple different setups, multiple different roles, to where now I don't think many of those players who were brought in on their potential are ever going to hit that potential, because the years where they should have been fine-tuning certain skills to become elite at their trade, a lot of them are now decent at multiple roles, decent at doing different things, but not what they were supposed to do. So I think Chelsea's squad and those young players, especially a lot of that young core that was looked at as like, well, this could be the group of players that by 2027 is there ready to take off challenges. They're not there, and they might not ever be there now because they have lacked stability from the get-go in this project. Pochettino, 1 year. Maresca, 1 year, 5 months. Liam Rosenior, if he gets to 2 years, I'll be shocked. Before that, Potter, 6 months. Tuchel, from when Blue Pill got in, 4 months. Chelsea haven't. The idea that Chelsea sack all their Chelsea sacked all the managers, but these new owners don't do that. These owners sack as much as the old one. There was success in that one. There isn't the success here. So I just look at this and go, the way this plan is set up, it's all about developing young players. And Chelsea have done nothing to successfully develop young players. They've not created an environment to successfully develop these young players, I should say. They've not created the stable environment for it. Some players have natural quality to shine through, but a lot of them, they just fade into obscurity, or they underwhelm for a lot of the time because they're not in the right environment for it. So yes, on the basis of, do I think this project is going to be set up for failure? Yes. Do I think Chelsea overall? No, because they're too big of a club to forever be washed away. It might take them a longer time now than we thought. It might be a 10-year, 20-year, whatever, but they'll come back eventually. But this whole wonderful idea of Blue Co coming in, they spend £2 billion and we're going to have this wonderful, recycling package where we get rid of certain young players and we keep a core, and then all we do is just add some of the best young players and we all develop at once, and it's all happy-go-lucky, hands in arms with the best team ever. That's not going to work because they have not at any point provided the stability for these young players to develop and figure out who they are at the top level.
Great point. Hannah, how do you see this with Chelsea? World champions, Conference League winners. A lot of people thought this was the year when they went back to challenging for the league title, but they currently sit, I think, beyond anybody's wildest expectations. More than halfway through the season, they are 8th in the league behind Manchester United. They play Brentford next, who are currently sitting 5th, which is crazy. They could theoretically end up as low as 12th in the league by the next round of games if they don't win. Is it fair? Do you think they're ruined in terms of being a big club that competes? Do you agree with what Rory Jennings and a lot of Chelsea fans are saying online?
I think, God bless him, Rory Jennings is highly dramatic. I think, like Tom said, it's kind of like United, we all love to call us the sleeping giants, but it's not going to be like that forever. Football is a cycle, and this is their dip. But even in their dip, they've just come off winning, the Conference League. They are technically world champions, as absurd as I think that statement is. So even in their bad times, kind of similar to United, they're still winning things. They're still winning trophies. Rosenior, I mean, with respect, I can't say I've watched a lot of his football because I haven't. I'm not too, as a neutral, I'm not too excited about this appointment. I think it's massively underwhelming for a club like Chelsea, but I feel like his appointment matters a bit, but not enough on its own. Like, Rosenior can and might improve the performances, but unless that ownership aligns with the recruitment and they have expectations and they're all on the same page, similar to what I've said about, United and about Amorim and Ineos, like, it's never going to work, and no manager will last long term if that's not clear again. So I definitely don't think they're ruined. I just think this is potentially a bit of a dip for them, but they're still winning things, so you've kind of got to respect that.
I love how you say Rosenior. It's great. Have you all heard how Judge Mo says it?
What's the way to say it? Educate me.
It's Rosenior. You're just saying it with an accent, fine. But yeah, Judge Mo calls him Rosé and Noir.
Which sounds a lot better.
Yeah.
Jose and Noir, I like it.
Yeah, I think people would be more excited about him. What do you make of it, Ash? Kwess and Hannah here talk about they're not finished. It's a cycle. They'll come good. People are being dramatic. Do you see it that way? Or Chelsea as world champions sitting in 8th? hiring Liam Rosenior, do you feel that that is the right step to get them back to the pinnacle, or is it a step backwards?
I mean, it's not a step towards challenging. Most definitely not. Like, I don't see that being. You can't tell me Rosenior is a better manager than Maresca. Like, he's just gone for the sister club over with Strasbourg. It's not like they've really pushed the boat out and being like, let's get Enrique in or something. Let's try and push for the top spots. I think what's going to happen, they're going to be sitting in the area between 4th to 6th for the next couple of years, still gradually getting better with the players because they've got to age more and they'll understand more because they've still got a discipline issue. They've got the most red cards in the Premier League by a country mile. But the thing is, yes, I don't see them challenging at all the next couple of years, but do I see them challenging in 3-4 years? I do, but that's because the players will have a lot more experience in the Premier League. But it depends on what they do, because who knows? We could get to the end of the season and they end up start selling all these players that they've developed a little bit, and then they buy young. It depends on what they do, what their philosophy actually is. We need to fully see it go through, because if they want to just develop the young players they've got, then they will get to a point where they're 26 years old, reaching the pinnacle of their physique, and they will start challenging. But until then, it's going to be a 4th to 6th race, I think, for the next couple of years with them.
Viewers, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions when it comes to Chelsea in that regard. This here, Tom, try having belief in that moustache, and someday it might just show up.
Shameless. Listen, if he wants to grow a beard and a moustache, he can. So don't say that, bro.
I mean, I'm really taken to heart by the man who's got a AI generated "'tis the season" profile picture of a bald man talking about hair. It really sort of got me, that one.
It's a good response. Kwess, I need to ask you, bro. Maybe you asked it. I had to look out the room. I could hear a kerfuffle in my hallway. It was my dog and my daughter playing, and it was just, I didn't know what was going on. They were just rolling around on the floor playing. Are you fully behind Liam Rosenior? Do you see this as a good appointment? Do you feel this is the right, out of all the managers that were available, do you feel you've done the right thing for Chelsea?
This will be good.
Listen, what did Pep say? More than you know, man. More than you know. Listen. See, the thing is, yeah, I tweeted this the other day. The way he's talking, yeah, I think this is just a great people person in general first, which I actually think is largely what we've needed. I don't. He
speaks
think
well.
He speaks really well, and actually has the credentials to back up like what he says he does, and everybody that talks about him says how much he influences people, not just players. And when I look at some of the best managers, including Tuchel, who we all loved at Chelsea, and Mourinho, some of the best managers in the game have always been great people. They know how to get the best out of people because they know how to talk to people well. They understand people and they build relationships with people that helps them grow. So for me, the big thing about this appointment is, someone said Amorim spoke well. Are you okay? Did you actually listen to any of his press conferences? This guy was depressed from day one. I don't know if he ever spoke well. Let me chill. Anyway, Rosenior, my point being, I think what's needed at this point with these Chelsea players is you need somebody that can come in like a father figure and say, listen, you lot right now are taking the absolute pee. Now I'm going to help you get to the point where you can perform at your best. But if there is any slacking off, I promise you now, me and the club are going to make sure that you're out of here. And I believe he's got the backing to do that, because this guy has had a relationship with these sporting directors since like 2018. He's the one that Egbali pushed for. And what I see in him that I didn't see in Maresca, because what I give Maresca credit for is the tactics. What I didn't see is that this is a guy that's coming into the club understanding what it means to be Chelsea. As in, he's already saying it's about coming and making our home a fortress, somewhere people don't want to go. It's a long day. He understands what it means to be a Chelsea player, in that everywhere you go, everybody's against you. Remember when Mourinho said to the media, oh, the media's against us? And it created that siege mentality, which people can be like, oh yeah, but that's a nothing thing. Fergie did the same thing when he was at Aberdeen. If you go and read, I was doing some historical research. I wanted to understand like how he generated that success. It says he done the same thing. I was reading it the other day. When he went into Aberdeen, he said he didn't get the players buy-in until they won. I think it was the Scottish League Cup, or they won the league in his like third or fourth season. He said, but after that, in order to create that mentality, he started going at the media and getting into the players' head that nobody likes them. You need to be better. You need to understand that people hate you. They want to take you out. I think that's what Liam's going to do.
Does not need that. Garnacho already has that.
Bro does not need
you're
that,
right. Believe me.
You're right. But I think that other players do, because I actually think one of our biggest problems is we're too nice. I think we're too nice. I think that's why we get into fights. I think a lot of these boys are nice boys.
The biggest discipline problem in the Premier League, and you're going on about, we're too nice.
I wouldn't say Liam Delap is nice either.
I knew you didn't understand what I said, so let me make sure I make it clear for you. What I mean by too nice is you maybe we don't get this right, because how's the best way to explain this? When you're a nice guy, what happens is when people treat you bad, you kick off. Right? So I was like this. When I was young, I was such a nice guy all the time. If anybody double-crossed me, I'm like, what the flip did they do that for? I would never do that to them. Get over it. It's the way the world works. So for me, the way I see these players is getting into fights, pushing people, prodding people, kicking out at people. I'm going, you don't understand. This is the game. This is the game. This is how it goes. I don't see this problem with Arsenal, because Arsenal know they have to be nasty. And you know how I know that they know how they knew they had to get to that point? Because Arteta came in, and every interview with every ex-player or every media sort of coverage of Arsenal was that they were soft. They were too nice. They get pushed about. The same thing's happening at Chelsea, but what you're seeing is the frustration coming out and the dumb decisions because they know they're better than they are. So that's why, for me, I look at this Rosenior appointment and go, right now, Chelsea are in a dark place. You need someone to come in, love the club, love the players, and go, listen, we're building from the ground up. All right. But we can't be too nice.
Therapy. So your players need therapy.
In a way, I'm not going to lie to you, because that's how Poch got the best out of them too. So, yeah, I feel like I'm saying too much, but I just think Liam is the guy to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Question though. Devil's advocate here. Could you not have found a more experienced manager who's won major trophies that could also make them feel like this? Yes.
And this is probably what will frustrate people more. But they probably wouldn't have been willing to work in the structure. And that's the bit that's difficult. Because as much as people hate this structure, it is what they've said they were going to do from the beginning. And so you have to accept it for what it is. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. And that's one thing I was disappointed about in the Fulham game. Some of the fans were spending more time singing about the club and the owners than they were singing for the fans. Do you know how detrimental that is? To me, that's bonkers. You need to encourage the players. Everybody knows we're in a dark period, a dark time. Encourage the players, lift the players up, back the process. Even if you don't like it, stand by your club regardless. Call them out on socials, call them out after the game, call them out before the game. While your team is playing, back them. And that's what I think Liam will do. I think he's already said he's going to unite the fan base and the team. So I think I'm most excited about that.
Where are you in terms of the big planned protest against Clear Lake? Are you standing by Clear Lake, or are you with the protests?
I think if people want to protest, they should protest. Every fan's entitled to do what they want to do. And if you pay for a match going ticket and you feel like you want to protest, absolutely go for it. What I would just say is protest, then go watch and back your team. I don't want to offend people, but what I can't understand is saying sell your ticket, don't go to the games. What's that going to do? Some other random person's going to buy that ticket and go sit in your place. You're not going to do any damage to these clubs this way. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to continually ask questions before the game, after the game. Do your protest, cool. But then sing and show the club and the owners how much you love your team. And sometimes I think that this is like, I don't know if it's like a UK fan problem, where like we almost feel like the only way to deal with things is to shout, scream, holler, make a scene. I don't think you have to do that all the time. Sometimes you just need a little patience, put pressure in other ways, right? There's other ways to do it other than to just start going and having a meltdown and being like, our team is finished. I don't know what I'm going to do. The Chelsea I love, it's not gone. It's just different. It's different. So go do your protest if you need to. And then at the same time, go support the team. Simple as simple is, I think.
Well, what we have established, we now know to the debate earlier what a yes man looks like, I think.
Hey,
We just got that there.
valid,
But
bro.
listen, but you know what? I don't agree with everything you've said, Quest. But do you know what? The reason I'm not overly challenging it, and the rest of the panel might step in here as well, maybe different to me. At least you've actually given a straight answer. Where I know for a fact there's a man coming on my show tomorrow at 3 p.m. who is gonna be about that. If he was actually, no, I'm not gonna say that joke. Like, if he was beating about another type of bush like that, he's getting dumped, is all I'm going to say, right? Just missing the point every single time. I don't think he's going to give a straight answer about Liam Rosenior. It will be, oh, you know what? If he delivers, I think he'll do well. If he flops, I think he'll do bad. The protests, I get why they're happening. Will I be at them? Not right now, but maybe I will if I've got time. I don't know. It will be sort of vagueness. I like the fact that you at least gave a straight answer. I like that. Don, it's on you tomorrow. Don, I need straight answers from you about what you think and what you. It's true though. A lot of people don't like giving straight answers. I give you credit there. Panel, I'll hand Kwess over to you. Any further
flogging?
Any further questions, or forever hold your peace?
You explained the view. I disagree with points of it, but you made this point clear, so I can't knock him for that.
No, it's his fault. At the end of the day, like, I think doing protests is very good in certain ways. Like, I know Wolves did one where all the fans left the stadium. Like, I think it says a lot about that stuff. I do also get the point where if you don't buy a ticket, someone else is going to buy it. When you're a big club, that does happen, and I do get the point. Obviously, I think it's easier to say everyone stop buying tickets and that actually happening instead of you try and do it yourself. It's I guess that argument with like vegan.
Those kind of protests don't work at certain clubs.
Yeah,
you're not gonna. Stamford Bridge will never be half empty.
Yeah,
ever. But if there is a game and people are protesting, Stamford Bridge will not be half empty. So those kind of protests, I don't think will have the impact that people want.
I agree. And this here, Dre says Terry's nervous system is primed to debate the likes of Don and Ches. You know what it is? It is actually, you're right. It's like an instinctual thing for me. It's give me a straight answer. Like answer. You can give it, you can explain things and go into detail, but by the end of it, I need to know, are you behind your ownership or do you want them out? You might say, I don't want them out yet, but I'm getting to that point. There's still a straight answer. You don't need to be one of those two, but it's the best of times and it's the worst of times. And then you talk for 20 minutes and we go, yeah, but are you with it or against it? What are we doing here? I'd just like to know.
It's making sure that you've got a soundbite where you win because you said every possible outcome that at some point you can go, well, look at that one. I said that. I did say that. So I was right.
And you know what? One of the big things, that gets me about this is like I actually understand as a Chelsea fan, like born in the 90s, I'm spoiled. Like I've seen my team win the league like 5 times. I've seen multiple FA Cups, seen multiple Champions Leagues. I've seen multiple trophies and multiple managers sacked. So for me, what I understand is like I actually need to be okay with accepting a little patience. Like I can't understand the full meltdown. I get the frustrations. I can't understand the full meltdown saying the club is gone because I've seen Liverpool, like my dad's favorite team, go 30 years, no Premier League. I've seen Arsenal go 20 years, no Premier League. I know what stress looks like. It don't look like this. That's not a diss, by the way, Tom. I generally like because in between that time,
there was just no need, though, was there? I
apologize
for calling you a yes man.
I don't mean that as a diss. No, generally, it's more because I think this is actually one of the things that contributes to toxic fan culture. That people don't have an ability to like stomach a time of difficulty. Everybody wants it easy. They just want to live good times all the time. It's not how football works.
Be a Newcastle fan. This is character development when I've had to grow up.
Ash might go his whole life, never see his team.
But equally, you can be against something and push back against it. So it may not be about not having the stomach. If you don't believe Clearlake are going to get it right at all, then you should still push against it. But I think it's about being. I think we live in a world where people don't want to. I don't want to change. I don't want to be called flip flop by changing my mind. I think it's worse to be a person who can't change their mind. That for me is problematic if your mind can't be changed. Then it's everything is the best of times, it's the worst of times. It's the age of wisdom, it's the age of foolishness. You know, it's the epoch of belief, it's the epoch of, I can't remember the next part of the line. I read it at school. It's the season of darkness and the season of light. Yeah, okay, what is it? Like, it's 1 minute is this, 1 minute. If you're doing this, it's like, okay, well, what's actually going on? Like for me, Ineos, I said I'm going to give them time. I didn't fully believe they'd turn it round. What my view was, I didn't see what I felt is anyone spending that amount of money to come in was going to do their best to try and get us back to the top, because it's a lot of money to invest. At the same time, I've criticized lots of things they've done. I said I'm going to give them a good few years to see whether they can do it before I make an overarching conclusion. So yes, I was behind them in the sense of I want them to make it work. I'm going to give them time before judging them. And I've got to a point where I'm saying I don't really believe in them anymore. I think that's quite a clear stance. But I hear some people, and I'm only teasing Don, to be fair. I just hear some people that are like, oh, I hate Clear Lake. And the next minute they're like, oh, my club, I knew we could do it. I'm like, well, when did the change? And it's not even about that you've changed your mind. It's when did you change your mind? No, I didn't. When? I've always said I was behind them. When? I said 7 months ago, I said they could get this right in this little passage on this show I was on. Okay, but there's these other shows where you said they're awful and crap and just sack the ball and you didn't like it. Yeah. So when did it change? It never did. And that's when I get confused, because it's not clear. Yeah. Okay to say I'm with Ineos, and then to say, do you know what? After 2 manager appointments, bad recruitment, I'm not with Ineos. It's okay to say I don't believe in Ineos. And then a year from now, go, I was wrong to say that. I'm fully behind them. I can see their plan. But it's when you change and then act like I didn't say something. Or hang on a minute, you've been bantering people over this. I see it all the time with people, and it's not even about changing your mind. It's the not wanting to discuss what's made you change your mind. That's the bit I find really intriguing.
People are saying bomber in the chat, by the way. But I just had a look, and it basically just says Arsenal still has interest in Mark Guehi, but is most likely to be a summer option. So it's not really anything.
Okay, we'll go into. Well, no, I always think it is when Ornstein speaks on a transfer. I think there's about an 85% chance the team that he mentions in his the big post he put out, I always think there's about an 85% chance minimum that when he posts about something as detailed as that, that's normally where a player ends up. Of course, there are anomalies where it doesn't go that way, but it's normally.
I mean, let's be honest. I think we all thought that, didn't we? Off the Palace Arsenal game when they played that in the cup, didn't they? Because he didn't celebrate at all.
Because you know what? I think Arsenal need another centre back.
We need him.
But you know, I think you're right, Ash. You know, because one thing I've never really thought about when it comes to these footballers is like, at the end of the day, at a basic minimum, it's a job, and you want to work with people you actually enjoy being around. And I know, like, for instance, like Guehi especially, one of the biggest things for him is like his faith. There's like 6, 7, 8, 9 Christians in that team right now. He's probably gonna go in there and be a priest. Well, he's gonna write it, bruv. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to be up.
Well, this is it. I mean, I did a story on this on one of my channels in the last few weeks, and it was a little bit of a. It wasn't a news story as such. It was talking about what Arsenal fans were pushing, which is I think we might be getting him based on the interactions that he was having after that game. And today is the first day where there's been any report. And John Cross, to be fair, and David Ornstein has tagged him, was the first journalist to put this out. And what John Cross had to say earlier on this evening was Arsenal already are ready to enter the race for Mark Guehi. However, Man City are favourites to sign him this month. It remains to be seen whether Arsenal would be willing to make the bid or bids in this until the summer. But that's what it's going to have to come down to for Mark Guehi. Like, where does he want to go? Who does he want to play for? And I get Arsenal currently have centre-backs, but I do think there's another side to that. And by the way, City can land him. City are an excellent team. But maybe there's an element where someone, unlike what Arsenal did with Arsenal did with Trent, maybe what's going on here is Saliba has said, I'll sign the new deal. I'll give you another year or I'll give you another 2 years, but I do want to go to Real Madrid. And that's why I wouldn't look at this as why do they need another centre back? What it tells me is, or it could be Gabriel. It tells me one of those guys could move on after this season or next, and their future planning by already having that replacement in, which shows you excellent excellent bits, excellent planning and business by the football club if they're able to pull it off. And I know Gunners, won't like hearing that. No, they won't ever leave. Listen, I remember Ronaldo signing a new deal, and we were like, yes, he's staying. I remember my dad gave me a slap round the back of the head. I was a grown man still then, by the way. I was around my dad's house. I was like, oh, we're keeping him. He gave me a slap round the head. I said, what are you hitting me for? He went, you stupid. That's just a deal to get more money. I was like, no, hey, Daddy signed the new deal. Why would he leave? He did. So that's why the only thing I wouldn't question is why do they need another centre back? Because one of those guys might move on, and the fact they've got them both on new deals means they're going to cash in. And that's the important bit. You're not letting, sometimes you've got to look at it. Maybe they know Saliba's got a dream to play for Real Madrid. Maybe he hasn't even asked to leave. But maybe what they're thinking is, well, we're better off maybe cashing in on him in the next couple of years when there's 4 or 5 years left on his deal and getting 80, 90 million, than letting him get to the last 2 years of his contract. And then he says, I don't want to sign because Real Madrid love a free transfer, and then you get less money. So I don't think the planning's bad. Fantastic player. Whoever gets him, their defense improves instantly. I think Mark Guehi is so good. What do you make of it? What do you make of Mark Guehi? Obviously, we were all watching him out in Germany. He was probably our best player at the Euros last summer, but could be on his way to Arsenal. City also interested as well. How good a signing and acquisition would he be for these clubs?
He's great. He's like so experienced, so solid for both club and country. The only thing I would say is obviously he's not getting any younger, so you kind of have to bear that in mind. If it's potentially going to be a long-term contract, I'd be wary of that. But he's absolutely brilliant, and you know, he's kind of been the backbone for Palace, particularly last season, I would say. So whoever gets him is going to be very lucky, but it's obviously, as a United fan, always gutting when it's potentially going to be Arsenal or City. But I think if I had to choose, I'd rather him go to Arsenal. I was so gutted about Semenyo going to City. I was like, anyone but them, and they're just getting greedy. But hey ho.
They are certainly getting greedy, City. And I want to ask a fact or fiction question. I want to throw it to you first, Hannah. Fact or fiction? If City complete the signing of Guehi, it takes their spending in the last 12 months to £550 million. Spending £550 million in 12 months on a title-winning squad makes it embarrassing if Man City don't win the league this season.
I feel like with their experience, somewhat yes. You know, apart from last season, they've been absolutely taking away the Premier League. So I would say with the investment and the manager that they've got, absolutely. But then it's interesting because, I mean, I don't know how many genuine City fans actually think this, but so many people are saying we need to change managers and get a new manager. So what? I've seen so much discourse on Twitter, like it's time for Pep to go. And like I say, when you're on Twitter, it's hard. Like it would be good to hear like a genuine City fan. I might DM Nobbins, but it's certainly interesting. But I think with the investment and the experience that they've got, they should be. But I feel like as a United fan, we can't really say much because look how much we've spent and invested, and we've not even got close to, you know, being Premier League champions in the last decade. So it's hard to say when it comes to spending. I think it's not that black and white, but I feel like with City's experience, they should be at least giving Arsenal more of a run for the money that they are now. I mean, dropping more points again last night. It's not really, I don't see how you can't beat Brighton at home, but that's football, isn't it? It's going to be...
Yeah, what do you say, Ash? I mean, really good points being raised there. Jeremy's actually backing you here saying, yeah, Terry, a lot of City fans are saying Pep's time is done. Do you know what I love about this? I love the fans to hound him out because it would be another thing for the debate because Fergie never got hounded out after winning league titles for Man United. Just want to put that out there for future debate reference points. Didn't spend as much as Pep, even with inflation. You know, rebuilt a great team. You know, built up two teams that were one team that was never big and made them the best team in Scotland and one of the best in Europe, and then reclaimed another giant. You know, he didn't do any of that. So yeah, hound him out.
Terry.
No, not agendas, just facts for a debate, not an agenda. Just facts for a debate. Ash, what are you saying? Is it embarrassing for a team full of title winners, the greatest manager of a generation, to spend 60% of Arteta's total spend on his squad in 12 months to not go on and win the league?
It's, to be honest, I don't think it's as bad as what it sounds.
Sorry, let me interject for a minute. A few people are saying in the chat, did I cut you short speaking, Hannah, or had you finished?
No, I was just going to say that
Sorry.
Essentially, I was just going to say, essentially, I feel like Pep just gets money thrown at him every summer, like normal, but every January as well. Like, he always just seems, I know they've got injuries, but it just seems whatever's going on at that club, he will just go to the Sheikh and get as much money as he can. And that's an issue I do have. And maybe I'm slightly jealous, but it just feels like he's a bit of a checkbook manager at times. But hey ho, but that was it.
Apologies. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Back to you, Ash.
The reason why I said I think it sounds worse than what it is because it also doesn't take into account, say, the players that they've sold or lost.
Oh, we don't do net spend on the terrace. It doesn't exist.
We're not doing net spend.
Real.
We're doing the players that we're doing players that have also gone out. So obviously, Julian Alvarez, Cancelo, Kyle Walker, Edison, Gundogan, KDB, Grealish, all over that time period. That's an insane amount of players, and they brought in the likes of Marmoush, Nico Gonzalez, Savino.
But isn't that the embarrassing bit? Man United saw our legends leave, and we spent £1.5 billion on shit. That's why we get laughed at. That for me is the embarrassing bit.
So yes,
replaced it with average players.
No, but yes, but then I wouldn't say Cherky's an average player. I wouldn't say Donnarumma's an average player. I would say like these are potential like world beaters in the future. They just need time to settle in because you've also got to think about in that time period, like flipping Liverpool spent over 400 million just in last summer, and that's more embarrassing what happened from them. I know Tom's giving me the side eye there.
I haven't even fucking said anything. I haven't even said anything. There was no need. Go laugh at other clubs.
But like that's what I'm saying is that when you put it in context like that, all other clubs have also spent a lot of money. Whereas I think City, like I said, everyone said Pep, there was asterisks on Pep's name because they've never seen him rebuild a club. He's now in that position where he's doing that. So I think, yes, there's going to be a lot more expenditure in that time. The Arsenal expenditure is now seeing the fruits of its labour, where this year they're probably going to win the Premier League. Is at the point I would like to say they're clear favourites at the moment, just because City's dropped points. So so that when you put that into context, you would like to think maybe next year or the year after, this squad that City's got right now that they've spent is probably going to be challenging, if not they are challenging right now as well.
Yeah, look, I want to clarify my point because I did tell you I think the squad building overall in the last 3 to 4 years at City has been embarrassing. I feel that they have bought too many good and not enough quality players. They haven't and some players are impossible to replace, and I understand that because it's a great team. But I don't feel the fact they've got Mateus Nunes playing for them at right back is an issue. Nico Gonzalez had good moments. Reinders looks a good player, but they don't have players off the ball in their midfield that are anywhere near the previous level they had. They've got Haaland, who is, of course, prolific. I think Foden's a very good player, but their wingers, it's too hit and miss. You think about the potency they had from either Julian Alvarez playing out there, the Mahrez is being out there. They're just not as consistent. So I'm not saying they've bought absolute duds because they're in the top 4. They're always in the conversation. The recruitment just hasn't been good enough. And you think about players out there they could have got, such as the fact that Lise isn't a Man City player is crazy to me when you actually break it down. There have been players available. They can get anyone they want as well. I think that's been embarrassing. Pep not winning the league isn't, because he's got loads of credit in the bank, but it is I'd say it's a failure still. I think we have to be very mindful that City suddenly can't just get away with it like every other team not winning the league just because they've won it in the past. It's still a failure if you're dropping. You've got to remember they spend nearly 500 million a year on salary. But the thing is, £1 million on players in 12 months. You've got to not winning the league is definitely failure, in my opinion.
The issue is, right, you are completely right in what you're saying there, because
I know.
But the issue is, I think that exact quote to how you're saying it's a complete failure applies to multiple different Premier League teams, because we're now in a state where multiple Premier League teams, probably like the top 5 or 6, are spending hundreds of millions of pounds each transfer window, and only one of those teams can win the Premier League.
I agree, but we're talking specifically about Man City. So
would you think this Man City is a bigger flop with how much that they've spent, that they're probably not, they're likely not going to win? Or do you think, in my opinion, I think what happened at Liverpool this season.
Yeah,
Tommy, it's true. You can't escape it.
Yeah.
It's true. It is. I think how much they spent, that's the bigger flop.
Well,
where they are.
I mean, I would agree because they were better than City last year, and they're now worse than City. So I do agree. I mean, and they've had their criticism as well, and you've got to contextualize it all because they're both still ahead of Chelsea and Manchester United. Have also spent a lot of money, and Spurs have spent a lot of money in recent years. So it is, but it's not a defense. It's not a defense for Pep and for City to go, but United are crap. But Chelsea haven't been good because that just doesn't, Your Honour, our defence for committing murder is other people have committed worse murders. It's not a defence. It's just a deflection. So, and we'll get on to Liverpool another time. What do you make of it, Tom? Obviously, someone who understands what overspending and flopping looks like.
Right, Kwess, Hannah, do either of you two want to say anything as well? Because we're just decided
bro,
in the Man City
you got
section,
this.
we're just going to laugh at my club, son.
Well, you did break the transfer record twice in one summer, and both those players have been less than average. So I can't help
Hey, listen, Hannah, I'm not complaining. We got 130 million.
the Newcastle had the last laugh, but I'm really sorry, babe. I can't defend you there. I can't. I'm sorry.
Go on, Kwess, you're the last one. Anything you want to say?
Hey, listen, it's nothing. Hey,
Kwess, here's your time to promote selling Garnacho to them. Come on. Let's do something else.
Listen, I know you missed out on Semenyo.
I need a winger.
We've got a couple players. Yeah, we got a couple players. I got Neto for you.
I'm not that desperate.
Garnacho, Gittins. No, listen. Do you know what I would say? I don't think it's embarrassing. I think embarrassing is too harsh. But I get the question here. Like, should they be doing more with the money they've spent and the squad they have? Yes, but they're also second. So it's like, if they were where Chelsea were, I'd be a bit more inclined to be like, this is a joke. This is embarrassing. I just don't think I can say it about... the only thing that I think I really do agree with is, like, actually, to be fair, they've probably got, the Pep is probably the best manager I've ever seen in club football. I know Fergie's the other one, right? So without him, would they be 6th, 7th, or 8th? Probably, to be fair. They probably would be struggling. So that's kind of like their caveat, isn't it? That they've got somebody who is super switched on, knows the league, and is just a genius, right? But I don't know if I can say embarrassing because, I said about Arsenal,
it's embarrassing by their previous standards. So
yes,
a lot of Man City fans saw them build one of the greatest teams the league has seen, one of the greatest teams that Europe has ever seen across a 5-year period from 2018 to 2022. They built a monstrous team then. Yeah. The difference now is,
or just a natural cycle, though.
It's
in the context of now, it's not embarrassing. In the context of now, it's not embarrassing because they're not the only ones that have spent a lot of money. Arsenal in the last 2-3 years have spent a lot of money. Liverpool have spent a lot of money. Chelsea have spent a lot of money. Manchester United have spent a lot of money. When you're successful, you make a lot of money. What are you going to do with that money you make? You're going to spend it on better players. Now, City's squad building has got an awful lot worse. They're not identifying the problems better. They're not getting the players who fix the problems better. But the amount they've spent is not embarrassing because a lot of clubs have spent a lot of money in certain moments. It's just natural inflation. The big problem City have is we've seen them have to build a squad before. And they always say rebuilding's harder than building. But we've seen them build a squad before in 2017, 2018. And they built an incredible squad that was complete in pretty much every facet of the game. This one that they're building now is a far cry from that. There's a lot more holes in this team than there ever was in that team. And I think that's the difference where I'd say, if I'm going to use the term embarrassing for it, that's where I'd use the embarrassing thing on is, in 2 years of building this squad, we are so far away from where you were in 2 years of building that squad. Yeah. So that's where it's embarrassing. But the amount of money spent is, it's not arbitrary because it's a lot of money, but it feels a bit arbitrary because it's not like they're the only club that are spending money in this period of time. Yeah. Every club has spent a lot of money in this period of time. It's just...
I get
they're not top of the league, and it's not like they're miles away.
I agree. I agree. I don't think it's embarrassing. To the fact or fiction question, I think it's fiction because I wouldn't call it... I wouldn't say it's embarrassing for Pep and sackable for Pep. I do think the squad building has been poor, by their standards. And at the end of the day, we're talking about a team that are trying to win a league title. And as much as Man United have spent as much, we've fallen. So now we're trying to catch up. It's the reality of the situation. We can't keep saying, well, yeah, but 2013 we were title winners. At some point that becomes irrelevant. We're not anymore. And you're trying to build to that point. These guys were the best team around. The interesting point you make is what happens after Pep, if Pep does leave this summer. Because this for me is the cold hard fact in any statement. They may never have a manager as good as him again. If he's truly the great, but again, if he's truly the greatest of all time, the only way they surpass it is by having someone better than Pep. So how likely is it? And I'm at this realization with Man United. I've got to understand at 40 years of age, I will probably die and there'll never be another person at my club as good as Fergie, because I think Fergie's the greatest. The likelihood of that happening again is so low. So this is where the squad building's got to get right, because the next guy coming in will not be as good, in my humble opinion. And, Luis Enrique, you might be able to make the argument because, he's done some similar, did really well at Barcelona. Maybe someone like him can come in and keep them up at that level. But I still think it's going to be a level below. So, that sort of superhuman element of Man City, I think that age has passed of superhuman Man City, which is good for the league.
I agree.
It's going to be weird. They're going to lose half their fans.
Someone will probably call me out for poverty shaming, but I'm a povo, so I can do it. I'm going to start by saying I'm a povo, so I can povo shame. I'm not povo shaming. I can't believe it was a title race game last night, and the stadium had loads of empty seats. I thought it was a protest. And
they're expanding the stadium. It's actually embarrassing. I know that's mainly for the Euros, but it's embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a crazy one. Hannah, I know you've got to go in a minute, but we'll come back to the Guehi Arsenal stuff and tonight's game in a moment. But I wanted to play a little game with Hannah. Essentially, I don't know what the TikTok phase is called, but it's winner stays on type thing. So I'm going to name you some potential permanent Man United managers. And you're going to say, I'm going to start with 2. You're going to pick the one you prefer, and then only change that person if a better manager is named. So we'll see who comes out on top for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
So we're going to start with Marco Silva or Ange Postecoglou.
Oh no. Marco Silva.
Okay. Marco Silva or Areola?
Oh, it's hard. It's based off current form right now. It would be Silva again.
Silva or Frank Lampard?
Silva.
Silva or Gareth Southgate?
Oh my god. If you're trolling me after what happened yesterday, Silva.
I don't know what happened yesterday.
Basically, when I went on Sky, someone sent in a voice note saying that they wanted Southgate, and I was sat listening to it, trying not to laugh. I just had to listen because I was on the panel. And Sky Sports official on Twitter clipped it and said, Man United fan wants Southgate, and obviously the stupid degenerates on Twitter.
I think it's you.
I'm not even going to repeat what they said, but this bitch wants Southgate. I'm like, you didn't even watch the video. Oh, wow. Silva.
So you're going with Silva. Silva or De Zerbi?
De Zerbi.
De Zerbi or Enzo Maresca? Go with your gut. First word comes into it. Go on. De Zerbi. De Zerbi or Glasner?
For us, not Glasner, because we've just got rid of Amorim for playing a back 3. So De Zerbi.
De Zerbi or Luis Enrique?
Enrique. I want him.
Enrique or Ole Gunnar Solskjær?
Enrique. Long term.
Enrique. There we go.
He's the winner.
He's the winner. I just took all the names that are in like the top 10, 15 sort of on the odds list. That's where if anyone's asking why.
I love Luis Enrique. I don't know if he'd actually come to United, which kind of seems mad to say, but he would be like the dream. Can you imagine his football though at Old Trafford? Oh, come on.
It would be orgasmic. In fact, do you know what?
Your eyes rolled back in your head then. Jesus Christ.
You can get odds as far as 70-1 on Thomas Tuchel, which is crazy considering the amount.
I'm not going to leave the England squad.
Well, but I'm just saying the amount of top journalists that are saying United are really pushing. It might be just if you're a betting, it might just be worth a fiver in case it happens because it's 70-1. Do you know what I mean? Just for the odds. Just for the odds.
Someone's just said in the chat, Hannah, my manager's not going anywhere. It's a PSG fan, but apparently he's not signing a new contract because he wants a challenge in Europe. So the challenge could be Man United.
I will be so honest. If Luis Enrique is available in the summer, certain managers who are uncertain on their manager will sack their manager just to be in the place of Luis Enrique, and it won't be Man United top at that point.
But that's sorry.
No.
No, Liverpool's not right for him. Liverpool don't do well with giant names, as we found out this summer. So you're better off staying away. Do you know what I mean? So
because United's history in recent years with big name managers is so good.
By the way, I think on Thomas Tuchel, isn't he actually available? Like, because his contract's only till the end of the World Cup, which is like the middle of July.
Yeah, the World Cup's going to decide it. Because for a fact we don't have a great World Cup. The flag shaggers are going to come out for him because he's German. The flag shaggers are ready, bruv. Painting, painting flags on the roads. They'll be outside his house. Do you know what I mean? England. You know what I mean? You know it's coming. Do you know what I mean? Gammons FC.
Gammons FC is crazy. I hear that.
Oh, it's Terry's internet gone.
Oh no!
He's back.
Hey.
Honestly, I got into so much trouble talking to my internet provider because I paid for this lease line, and they basically the company I went with, it's so good, it's so the way the lines are built, the way it's protected, internet won't go down. It went down for 14 hours on Sunday. That was probably the worst I've ever spoke to a group of people in my life in a call on the Monday. It's expensive as well. The business pays for it. It's not like £20-30 a month. I was going mad. What do you mean it's down? I went, something happened. Basically, someone unplugged something I don't know what they're called, like one of the what are those things called? The boxes you see in the street.
The switchboards.
But it was at like one of their main depots. Someone took something out to do some maintenance for like 2 minutes and put the wrong things back in and went home. So essentially, it was just
go after them for loss of earnings. Be like, do you know who I am?
Yeah, that's a mad thing.
Oh yeah, I
lost 200k.
I get 300 grand a stream. And I lost 3 streams. Yeah, it's terrible. This says if we get Guehi, then Miles Lewis Skelly goes to midfield, and Capier and Calafiori battle for the left back spot. Yeah, most likely. And end of the day, a lot of people are going to go, I don't understand our Arsenal, we're going to make this work. Listen, it's a great problem to have, isn't it? It's a great problem to have, not knowing who's going to play where. So I wouldn't cry about it. I wouldn't be worried about it. Just rivals will. Nice to see everyone's hair done today. Well, I got a hat on, but yeah, Hannah's hair looks great. Quest looking slick. Tom looking greasy, to be fair. And I am annoyed at you. I'm annoyed at you, Ash, because if you want to know about Ash's actual hair, when Ash puts his hair down, it's like a bowl cut. It's a bowl cut.
The barber did me dirty. It was like the day after I had a haircut. It was my usual one I go to, but yeah, it wasn't the one.
It's crazy.
You're still going back to him.
I've not been back since. Listen, this is the hair from when it was done. It's just slowly growing out.
Yeah, it looks better. I need to ask you a question, Tom. Tonight's game's really big. Is tonight about winning, or is it about helping Man City? Like, is it about winning for you, or is it winning for Man City tonight? How do you look at it?
That is a fucking mental picture there.
How do you think you're going to get on at the Emirates Stadium? Han, see you later, Han. I know you got to shoot. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Take care. See you later.
We're going to lose. We're going to lose.
Come on, Tom.
That's the fact. No, we are, though. Because where's my goal going to come from? For one.
Szoboszlai.
Okay, brilliant. We get a Szoboszlai free kick. How are we stopping them? We couldn't stop Fulham. We couldn't stop Leeds. We couldn't stop Wolves from scoring. So we might get one. How many are they getting? Poor Man City are going to be very disappointed based on that picture because we're not doing anything there.
That picture was diabolical.
Like, what people aren't understanding is we are the single worst set piece.
Oh my gosh, that picture's mad.
Oh my god. We are the single worst set piece team in Europe, going up against the single best set piece team in Europe.
Yeah, but you could. The thing is, you've got to think about this, right? Because like Wolves I think, had a great plan against them. That they sat Hwang quite far at the pitch to hit them on counter attacks. Like with their style of play, especially at home, you could potentially get a counter attack. Granted, I don't see you having massive pace in your team.
That's true. We could get a counter attack, and then you know what my players will do? Pass it backwards, so we can have so the two centre backs can fanny about with it and go, "You have it, you have it, you have it, you have it, you have it," and then we go, "Ah, shit, we can't go forwards now because Arsenal are in a good shape. We're not good. We're not good. Arsenal are the perfect. This is the perfect time for them to play us. We are on the single most embarrassing unbeaten run of all time. We should have lost about half the games. We're not good. So
It's tough, man.
We're going to the best team in the country, who their strengths are our weaknesses, and I'm supposed to sit here and go, I think we can do something against them. No, we haven't even got a striker. Gakpo's playing up front. Canate's half fit.
Do you know you guys are below Man United on away form this season?
I'm not shocked.
Ouch.
I'm not
You're
shocked.
eighth in the Premier League on away form.
Do you know what I will say? And I mean this with the utmost respect, Tom. I've never seen a
He's
team
about
that
to say the
deserves
most
it.
disrespectful thing now, isn't he?
No. but
It always
I've,
ends up like that.
I mean, no disrespect, but I'm going to say the most disrespectful thing about your football club now.
I'm just saying that I've never seen a team or a fan base that deserves it more than you. I'll be honest. I'll be so real. At the start of the season, the arrogance was absolutely disgusting.
It was t-shirts.
Oh my gosh.
I stand by that.
So much. They were like, we don't need Klopp who? We should just play in a league by ourselves. Newcastle need to shut their mouth and hold that. The disrespect and the arrogance was unbearable. And I actually don't like to see clubs go out like this, and I don't like Slot. So for me, I feel like he deserves this as well, even more so than
at least we shared a view on my manager.
Yeah. But Liverpool needed this humbling because every time they do something decent,
oh my god, he's benched
go
Curtis Jones. Oh my god,
is he playing good? Yes,
he's benched Curtis Jones. So we
he's benched him.
McAllister.
No.
Oh my
he's playing
god.
So that means it's only going to be 4-0, not 5. So I think that's all
Curtis
right.
Jones is better for us than McAllister. Who are Arsenal playing?
Do you know, it's gonna be interesting because I feel like this could be a similar game to the Villa game.
Yeah, I actually think it's gonna be a draw. 2-2.
Oh,
you've got to score in 2 whole goals in a football match.
Liverpool Arsenal games are always like mad amount of goals. Is mad. Yeah, it's mad all over the place.
The thing is, if that was away, I could understand it. But the thing is, Arsenal's at home and they just
Arsenal are full strength, and our team has 2 right backs in the lineup, with one of them at right wing, Gakpo up front, and a midfield 3 that has McAllister in it, who is. His legs have gone so fast you wouldn't believe. And a half-fit Canati starting because he refuses to play Gomez.
Let me change. Sorry, I apologize. 3-0 Arsenal. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand. I didn't understand. Wow.
Is Gyökeres starting?
Yes, Gyökeres is starting.
What a game for him. We saw Šeško last night. I know we didn't win, but actually, I want to say quickly, I haven't mentioned it today. Šeško's brace was brilliant. It's actually really good.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Credit where credit
The second goal was very good.
Yeah.
The second goal was extremely good.
That is the Sesko that I think everyone thought was going to be coming to the Premier League. And if he carries on like that, it's going to be scary.
Yeah. I mean, listen. It's having a goal scorer can change everything for a team. Do you know what I mean? No matter what level you're at. But I was thinking more about Gyökeres tonight in the sense of could tonight be the night where the duck is removed, scores a couple of goals, because that is the worst thing for this title race for anyone who doesn't want Arsenal to win. They're playing brilliantly. If Gyökeres could also come alive as well,
that might make it the lowest of the low, because I've seen relegation level centre backs handle him no problem this season. If he turns up and has a good game against us today, then
Tom,
do you remember when Alexander Isak made Van der Ven breakdance? I'd love to see him make Kanate or Van Dijk breakdance tonight. Like a drops the shoulder, they go the wrong. I'd love this. You know what I mean? On a question though, if Arsenal win tonight, how likely do you think it is they're going to win the league if they go 8 points clear tonight?
I think it's gone.
They win it. The amount of confidence they get then, they win it.
I think it's gone.
It's done.
If the other teams were gonna have a chance, yeah, do you know what you have to start doing? You have to just start doing like, well done to Arsenal. If that's the only way to try and make them complacent, is to start going, well done. They're the best team. You have to do Pep mind games. That's the only way. Because any other thing, you're just gonna rile them up. And at this point, they're so far ahead. I just think you're not gonna.
Yeah, I think Man City really threw in the towel kind of by drawing the last 3 games. If they won the last 3 games, and like I've always said this, if Arsenal's 1 or 2 points above City, I would put City in the driver's seat because they have to go to the Etihad. And like I said, I always think you should be looking to win your home games, especially if you're title challenging. So, but at the moment, Arsenal's just clear, especially if they win tonight. I don't, unless if there's injuries to their main centre backs again, because we did see them drop form when Saliba and Gabriel was out, but they probably won't. And yeah, the league's theirs.
Don't worry, both of them are starting for all the corners today. Don't worry about that. you know, like they go through 5 corner routines a game. You'll see how they score all 5 of them tonight. It'll be like a demonstration. So if we want to put the back post, we'll do all this, and then we'll go there and score that one, and then the next one will go front post, and the next one will go here. That's what it's like. We can't defend corners.
Have you noticed something about corners recently? That everyone started doing this template of just put it in towards like the edge of the 6-yard box and just cause massive chaos. It seems like every team's doing that at the moment.
It's funny, really, because I always find it. Arsenal got attacked for it, and my view is generally when your football team is being attacked for doing something, it's because you're doing something that rival fans wish their team was doing, and everybody's teams have copied the way Arsenal do set pieces. But yeah, the title race wise, I'm not going to say it's over, and that's just because of the way I am as a person. But I think if they win tonight, they go from being marginal favourites, they probably move into that realm of being clear favourites at that point, because essentially, we just boil it down to something easy. City have to win 3 more games than them between now and the end of the season. And although that sounds like a small margin, they're not playing well enough, City. There's no, for me, and this is the thing, I do care they've won it in the past. Their fans can handle the pressure. They've got players that have got over the line and a great manager. But they're playing well enough to be second in the league. But they are not playing as well as Arsenal in attack, midfield, and in defense across all those 3 areas. And then as a collective, they concede too many big chances. And do you know what? Their signing of the season, their best player this season has been Donnarumma, because he stops them conceding more goals and probably losing more points, because he's just one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Even yesterday, and I think he's that kind of goalkeeper that makes people nervous. When you get a penalty against him, most people think they're going to miss. Most people think they'll miss their one-on-ones because he saves so many. He's kind of good at, forget the save percentage stats. He's probably one of the best for that. He's probably going to be in the 70% up mark. But it's the saves he makes. He reminds me of David De Gea. He makes that save.
The same thing.
It's not just about, because save percentage is crazy. You could have 10 shots at you in a game, all pretty square at you. You catch them all, 100% save ratio. You might have 3 shots at you in the game, and they are in the top corner, and you manage to pluck them out or get a fingertip to it. You get 100% save ratio. You're not the same goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? Or one of them goes in, and you save the other 2 worldies, and it's like, my goalkeeper got 100% save succession tonight. Your goalkeeper only got 66%. Yeah, did you see the shots he was getting at him? So you always have to factor that in, and that's why it's 8 points. I just don't see a world right now, unless Arsenal's arseholes fall out, unless they bottle it like no one's ever seen. They get the worst case of diarrhea known to man.
Listen, Terry, it's not impossible. You know exactly what happened with Newcastle in the 90s.
Yeah, but this Arsenal team is better than that Newcastle team.
I completely agree, but like I said, I wouldn't put dropping that points away from it. But I do think this is 100% Arsenal.
Yeah, but also this is the way I view it. That Man United team was special. And if this was the Centurion City, if this was the treble-winning City, there was more chance they could catch them, because those teams put more nerves into you. The thing is with this City team, their fans spent 24 hours, no disrespect to them, saying, look, 6 points, fine. They lose a game, we capitalise, go 3 points behind them, beat them at the Etihad, we win the league. And it made me laugh, because I just thought that that's not a real opinion. That's just copium, because you're not playing well enough, consistently enough, to even believe you'll capitalize when they mess up. You're losing and drawing more games than them. It didn't make sense to me. And it's not just about how good Arsenal are playing, coupled with and I'm not talking about inconsistency like Man United and Chelsea. So let's preface that. I'm talking about the inconsistency within a title race where draws kill you. They're just not as good as Arsenal. So it needs City to get better defensively between now and the end of the season, and Arsenal to have a monumental collapse. And I'm not going to be surprised if in the next 3 or 4 league games, if Arsenal win tonight, this is all based on Arsenal winning tonight. If Arsenal win tonight, I wouldn't be surprised by game week
even further.
If they're 12 to 15. Because I think City's heads will go. City's next game is away at Man United, by the way. And look, we've been inconsistent this year. But with whoever our interim is at home in that game, it's going to be pumping. And it's before Arsenal play. The pressure on City to win that game is massive. And if they have a bad day, and we've taken points off City quite a few times in the last couple of years. It is doable for us. So yeah, I don't know. If they win tonight, they become clear favourites for me. Arsenal.
I will say City is going to improve though, because like a lot of us have said, is Semenyo a needle mover, and a lot of us have said yes. So I do think him joining City could potentially help them pick up some wins for the rest of the season.
Well,
but Arsenal would have to.
I disagree. I feel like it's kind of been widely accepted for a number of years now that like City's a place where wingers go to die. In that Pep system, yeah. Same thing with the Maresca system. This is unless you have elite level operators.
I think the thing to notice.
Yeah, you're right. The transition ball this year is different. You're right.
So,
you're right.
There's a reason Doku has probably looked the best he's looked. He's still inconsistent with him as a player. There's a reason he's probably looked the best he's looked this season, because it's more open. If this was Pep playing 2018, 2019, because Raheem Sterling was a very electric winger when he joined City,
and Mahrez was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Sane the same, and
that's
it's not like they became bad players under him, but they weren't tasked with doing what you expected them to do. They were told to run in and get to the back post for the crosses, and put the tap-ins in. Now I think that he looks at those wingers. I think he's going to try and play Doku and Semenyo at the same time, because those two can be his ball carriers. Then they've got so much pace and so much power that he can get it out wide, have them carry it up the pitch, and their job will then just be to cross it into the box where you can have Cherky, Foden, Reinders, Haaland all crashing it later on. And I think that's how he's going to play it now.
Yeah,
Do you
I
not
agree.
think, Semenyo playing on the right is like handicapping him though?
But the thing is,
I think that Semenyo, the way he hits the ball and the way he plays, I don't think he's the kind of guy who is very limited to one side of the pitch. I think his technique is
okay.
It's going to sound disrespectful to it's not. He whacks the ball. He doesn't have finesse on how he shoots. He gets a lot of power behind the ball and he hits it well. That works if you're on that side of the pitch or that side of the pitch on the right foot. It works if you're on that side on the left foot.
And Kwess, the reason why
go on,
I was going to say the reason why I don't think it's as bad as what you think having him on the right, because he can play there. Wingers drift across. You have Harvey Barnes for us. He's by trade a left winger, but we've been putting him on the right. And what happened? He scored 2 goals in that Leeds game, which was the reason why we won that game. Like,
fair.
If these wingers are as good as what they are, they will find ways to have impact on games. They will drift across in games. Yeah, so,
I look at it this way. I think Semenyo will make them better in the attack. I think what City's plan is stay a couple of points behind Arsenal and try and shoot our way to winning. Add more goals, kill more games off. You score 2, we'll score 3 type attitude. The problem is, and this would be leveled at this has been leveled at Chelsea. It got leveled at Chelsea last January. Man United would have this thrown at us. In fact, we're doing it this month ourselves by saying we should be buying players. Arsenal most certainly would have been chastised for this. But what are City playing at? 3 games this season, at least 2, if not 3 games, they could have had Semenyo in their team for. But they've allowed it. They've allowed them to stay at Bournemouth. And last night was almost the epitome of my view here. He's banging in a last-minute winner for Bournemouth to beat Tottenham, which we all know was beautiful. Great goal, beautiful goal. Whilst in the last couple of games, City have been screaming for a finisher. And I'm sitting there and going, it should have been 1 minute past midnight, New Year's Day, bid submitted and done in. Look how much money they spent. If they get Guehi, we know it goes up to, it's over 500 million they're spending. Yes, you're trying to structure it, but listen, what do we have to do to get the deal done from the 1st of Jan? I almost feel he's coming in. I think he'll do a good job there. I'm really jealous City are getting him. But you've let the league potentially get to an 8-point gap before he's kicked a ball for you. It almost feels, and I'm in the long term, still do the deal, long term do the deal. But it feels for this season, which is why they're going in January, is more for this season. It feels like the horse has already bolted before shutting the doors a little bit. It just feels weird to have allowed, because City for me have been so formidable, so brilliant at operating. I expected him in 1st of Jan. He's doing his medical New Year's Day. Because the deal was agreed, by the way, mid-December. Remember, late December. It was he picked City.
He talked about that today, though, didn't he? That was what he posted about this morning about how they let him have him for 3 more games so they could structure the deal across 2 payments rather than 1 payment, and this, that, and the other. I'm going.
Yeah,
he's saving a bit of money, but
23rd of December. So from 23rd of December to now, you're talking 2 and a bit weeks. And it's like, no, you got to get it done. You needed him. And maybe they felt they'd get through this period. Maybe there was a thought of, maybe he'll help take points off Arsenal because he plays them and all this. But that's just, I mean, he could have broke his fucking leg last night. The whole thing is weird. Let him do it. Touch it, I'm really happy he didn't. Very weird behavior from such a brilliantly run football club. It made no sense. The buyout clause, pay the damn thing, get him in for these 3 games. Because I think Semenyo in the City team for the last 3 games, I think there's a chance they win 2 of them.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a goal scorer. He scores goals.
Definitely.
Terry, do you think this is like, because part of my thinking around what's happened at City is the league, when I say the league, I mean the other teams, they shouldn't have let them get the 4th. I feel like the 4th was like, how has the league let them win 4 in a row? This is mental. And I feel like Pep should have left after the 3rd. But the 4th almost made them like, we're untouchable. And so I'm wondering if like maybe the hunger is gone slightly. And that's how you let a Semenyo decision go.
This is maybe, I think there's a combination of things. I don't think the hunger's gone. I think a few things has happened. The team hunger may have gone a little bit because they won so much. It's hard to maintain it. It's the biggest compliment Pep ever paid Fergie was, how did you spend 25 years in one place, but every season have a team fighting? Even if we weren't good enough to win the league, they fought. And Pep always said that was his favorite thing about Sir Alex, or one of them. I remember watching an interview on one of those award nights with Fergie, and Pep spoke. Brilliant words from him. There's that. The recruitment hasn't been good enough, but there's something that's happened in the last couple of years is the Premier League's become harder too. So City are not as good as they were at Centurions or treble level. No, but the league has become harder. And I said about no one this year. I didn't see teams going on crazy long winning runs. I probably underestimated it slightly by saying no one will win more than 6 or 7, but I didn't look at the fixtures. You look at Villa, look at all the games they were winning. Once they started going away to some of those, what I consider the tough away games, the Chelseas, the Arsenals, the Bournemouths, the Palaces of this world, suddenly they're dropping points because it's not a dig. They're a good team. You cannot go away. If you had a series, if you played 5 away games in a row, not the actual, you'd get home games in between. But if you go away this season to Newcastle, Arsenal, Villa, Bournemouth, and Brighton, I don't think any team in the league is winning all 5 of those away games. So the thing is, that didn't exist 6 years ago, 7 years ago. The league weren't that hard. You had 1 or 2 teams, and this is taking nothing away from those Liverpool and City teams. Those Liverpool and City teams would have competed for the title in every Premier League season ever. They were that good. But everything underneath them, typically speaking, was well below that standard. And that mid-block of teams, you had like a few years where West Ham were really hard away. There's a few teams. Brighton have been there for a while now. But there's so many hard away games now. This reminds me again of the noughties period where it was so hard to win football matches. The 90s, so hard. We just went through, I think, a 4 or 5 year period where we had 2 or 3 really good teams in England. And then everything underneath it was just a bit meh. A little, Chelsea had a couple of years in that period. Under Conte, brilliant. Few years they weren't, and then Tuchel made them really good, and then it just meh. But this year, it's not even about the top 6 sides. It's about that block of 8 or 9 teams underneath us from a monetary level. It's so hard. I can't remember a time where going away to equivalents of Aston Villa, Newcastle, Bournemouth and Palace are down like 14th and 15th. None of us want to go there.
I mean, Sunderland haven't even lost at home.
I'll be honest with you, I don't want to go anywhere.
Relegation battle, they're unbeaten in 9 games. Sunderland haven't lost at home. It's different now. And they're 2 promoted teams.
Yeah, I hear you.
Different.
The problem is, Teddy, though, I don't think me or Kwess actually want to go anywhere at the minute. I don't think, I don't even want to play at home at the minute. I don't think we're ready to go at home either. So it's kind of like a...
No, I hear you. No, I do hear you on that. A few super chats here says, they let him play 3 games because they let City pay over 2 years. Yeah, that's where City is stupid then. I mean, City for me, it's a bad. It could have cost them the league this year. Could have cost them the league.
I mean, that's weird, isn't it? They never used to do stuff like that. So why are they doing that now?
We owe Liverpool a hiding tonight for all the pain. Yeah, true. Very true. Bro, your new coach is a United fan who does what? What
He's
do you
talking
say?
about Rosenior.
Ah.
Rosenior
Oh, yeah. He is.
Yeah, seen that. Yeah.
I wouldn't worry about it. Players
18
are like
months.
A yes man is someone that will go against their own best judgment and expertise if it is conflicting with the higher ups to their beliefs. But from an outside perspective, it's impossible to establish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can get on board with that to a certain degree. But again, when it says own best judgment and expertise, what if it turns out to be right? So this is what I mean by, imagine if Klopp said, well, I'm leaving Liverpool because I can't get Julian Brandt and you want to give me this bum called Mo Salah. If he just went, well, I'm not going to go against my principles and leave. So this is why I think, as much as I understand that yes man has a negative connotation, there is an element where I look at it and say, sometimes going against your own judgment in life is good. Sometimes listening to an outside agent is good. Sometimes listening to an expert. And by the way, most head coaches are not expert scouts. The world's different. So this, and I'm not saying you're wrong here, JT. It's a really good super chat. And thank you for having the wherewithal to actually make a point. I just feel like we're creating a word that has a stance that's too blanket, too uniform, too easy, too neat for a more complex situation. Because otherwise, I just feel like it means everyone's a yes man.
Well, I mean, I think when you break it down, I don't think anyone's actually a yes man. Because I think if you have an opinion, that's always going to be against someone else's. So you're always going to be defying what someone else believes. So you've always got to be able to agree and disagree with people. But it's
equally. Look, let me throw a counter argument. I don't think Liam Rosenior should be at Chelsea. I think they should go for someone better. But let me play devil's advocate and defend him for a minute. What if the view is, if we really bring someone on board who is just like us, sees football like us, wants to play like us, wants to manage like us, wants to rotate like us? There is a train of thought that says you might get better results because you're all in unison with one another. So in that regard, again, it's maybe the plan at certain clubs it hasn't been working because there is too much of a conflict between the managers and the way the club wants to be run. So there is that side of it. But I suppose at the cold light of day, let's be honest. If a manager's winning you games and your team's doing well and you love your team and you're winning, no one gives a fuck if a yes man or not.
Yeah.
You know, I said earlier, it's often not about what you're doing, it's who's doing it and how you feel about the situation.
Yes.
Like what people are ignoring about Jason Wilcock and Man United, this report's been ignored by every single person that's kind of attacking him being there, is that there's at least 6 different reports now from some really credible sources that have all said he's heads on the chopping block. They're essentially saying if the interim appointment doesn't go well, he will also get sacked. So for me, I look at that and go, like him or loathe him, I like the fact that there is pressure on him he's got to get it right. You can't just keep hiring managers that don't work and you get to hire the next one because you're fucked up. And that for me is how it should work. But ironically, are we now going to say, but the board shouldn't get involved in sporting director parts of the game? You've set the precedent that no one should get involved in the manager's job. Who should get involved in the sporting director's job? By the way, as fans, we're all fucking telling Amorim what to do, saying change the shape, So why can't the sporting director tell him? This is my issue with it. I get when you're ranting, but when you have a conversation about it, it's like, oh, I don't know if we can behave like you're saying. It doesn't really stack up. Maybe. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. The UK government ruined the club. Do you know what, though? It's partly that, but it's also your government. You're American. It's your government, partly as well. So there's certain, for instance, I used to work in the banking world, and there's certain people from certain parts of the world that we weren't allowed to onboard as customers if they were born there, lived there, had business interest there, or traded there, because the US sanctioned them, and the bank I worked with was on the US stock market, even though we're a British bank. Therefore, we had to apply by US laws. So no disrespect to you as an American. Don't just start blaming the UK for all these sanctions. You're just as involved, my old pedigree chum. You're just as involved as the Brits on this one, my old mate. Trust me. Although we still have the money, or Roman has the money. It hasn't been released yet, but I'm not getting involved in that one. Look, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's tuned into the show today. Epic conversation, loads of great chat. Thank you to the super chatters. Thank you to the commenters, even the people that push back and disagree with us. You're a massive part of this show. So a big thank you to each and every single one of you. We enjoy the challenge immensely. Tom, Ash, Kwess, thank you. Hannah was on with us earlier as well. Appreciate it. We're live tonight after the Arsenal Liverpool game. Cannot wait for it. This is going to redirect you to Hassam's watch along. So make sure you're supporting my brother over there whilst he's live. We'll see you all at full time tonight. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And remember,